Good morning, flutarians. Welcome to another Atomic Flutist session. Ooh, let me get a little bit more light going on here. All right. I'm reflecting on this statement, musicians are small muscle athletes. I think one of my favorite band directors, Mr. Stephen Crawford from the High School for Performing and Visual Arts, was the one who introduced me to that idea. And having had some experience in the personal training realm as well, I see so many correlations between studying a sport or other physically active endeavor like that and studying the flute. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling like your muscles are getting tired or maybe even a little bit sore, that's normal. And it's going to take some time for them to adjust to doing something new. Make sure to give yourself lots of rest, some good nutrition. The best nutrition is fruits, in my opinion. And yeah, be generous with yourself and remember to practice. So I'm thinking that starting now, maybe I'll make the key of the day related to the day of the month. So it's the 4th day of February today. So what if we start on C and go up to 4 in the chromatic scale? D flat, D, and D sharp. So let's make well, there's not really a key of D sharp, but there is a key of E flat. So let's make E flat our drone tone of the day and our scale of the day. And let's start warming up down to that low C. Now, you've probably heard me say this before. In my opinion, the lowest octave on the flute is a good foundation on the low octave on the flute is the foundation for a beautiful sound in the upper octaves. So I always practice warming up my lowest octave first. So let's do this as, how about a combination of 3 notes? We'll start on the E flat, then we'll go E flat, D, D flat, hold that one, then we'll go back up, D, D flat, C, and we'll do those series of 3 notes all the way down to the lowest note on your flute. For me, that's a B. For you, it might be a C. For most flutes, it's a C, and a lot of the professional model flutes have a low B. And if your notes start cracking up into the upper octave, that's okay. Don't worry about it. But I recommend when that happens to go back to the last series of notes you played, play them again, and then try the next one. Because playing the lowest notes on the flute, it's like you can't force flow. You have to be relaxed to do it. So let's approach with a relaxed embouchure. I noticed for me that the lower notes, the hole in my embouchure, or the aperture in my embouchure, is less shaped like this, round, and more shaped like this, flat, like a pancake. So maybe you can think about that too. Here we go. E flat, D, D flat. And I'm going to do this without vibrato. Here we go, D down to C. And down to B if you have it. Now let's go back to this low E, E flat I mean, and let's just take a whole breath to play around with jumping up to the octave. Now I recommend doing this without the tongue to articulate, no ta, just a continuous stream of air. You could say it's slurred, and it's going to be a little awkward. We want to be discovering where is the exact change in shape in the embouchure happening to create that jump to the upper octave and then the return to the lower octave. I find that my lips come a little bit forward, almost like for the upper octave, and that my bottom lip gets nice and soft and supple for the lower octave. I'm also taking my airstream and instead of it's kind of directed down for the low note and directed a little bit more up for the upper note. So here we go, E, E flat to E flat. Let's do that again. I'm remembering that for the higher E flat, this one, technically this finger, this left hand pointer finger is going to be up, but let's keep it down and do the harmonic fingering for these notes. Because in my opinion, if you can get out the harmonic note, then it will be easier to get out the note with the proper fingering. So let's do E flat to E flat again. Let's do the same thing on the D. Same thing on the D flat. Same thing on the low C. Do the C again if you have a low C. Do the B if you have a low B. As I do that, I'm thinking about, what is it called? Multiphonics. So one extended technique you may encounter is called multiphonics. So it's got the word multi in the beginning, which means multiple. In this case, it means multiple notes. And some notes on the flute, some fingerings on the flute, you can, if you try carefully, get out two distinct notes. And I discovered that that has something to do with the aperture and the embouchure being taller. Oh gosh, how can I make this shape? More like a oval that's sitting up, where it's like you're hitting the upper note with the higher part of the open aperture, and you're getting the lower note with the lower part of the open aperture. Let's try that on the E flat and just experiment and see, listen closely, can you get out the two distinct notes? because this helps us learn the difference in the embouchure placement for the higher one and the lower one. Let's try that on the E flat. I'm remembering as I say that, oh, I'm seeing as I say that I thought I sounded flat and my flute's way pulled out. I don't remember when I did that yesterday. I'm remembering that this Sunday at 12 p.m. Central Time in another flute school group, the Flute Nerd Lab, Shanna Prentice, I think is her last name, is going to lead a session on an introduction to extended techniques. So join us then if you like. Let's try that low E, E flat, and do a 2-note series. Same thing going down in the chromatic scale. And let's add dynamics this time, where I want to practice playing as quietly as possible at the beginning of the note and at the end of the note. And in the middle, where I transition to the next lower note, I want to play as loudly as possible. Again, with no vibrato. And this helps teach me how to compensate for the fact that on the flute, when we play loud, it tends to go sharp. And when we play quiet, it tends to go quiet. Plus just generally training my embouchure how to play quietly and how to play loudly. So here we go. E flat to D. And down to C. Let's go up to the E flat higher than that. Excuse me. And do the same thing. E flat to D, take a breath. D to D flat, take a breath, and D. Oh, I want to resolve it to a more consonant note. Let's keep going till we get down to the B flat, which would be a perfect fifth from the E flat. Okay, let's work that E flat major scale a little bit. So what flats are in E flat major? We've got B flat, E flat, and A flat. Now, if you're in the position of improvising and trying to discover what is the key signature by ear, know this fact. The flats and sharps are always added and subtracted in the same order. So what that means, for example, is that if you play a B, let's see, if you play an E flat and you hear, oh, this is definitely in the key signature, then you know for certain that the B flat is also in the key signature. Because what order do we add the flats in? B flat, then E flat, then A flat, then D flat, then G flat, right? So let's do this in 3-note segments. Let's start on the low E. It'll sound like this. So let's do that, but a little bit slower. Now, in my opinion, you should practice your scales starting and ending on every note. So let's do the same thing, but start on the second note of the scale, the F. Same thing, but let's start on the third note of the scale, the G. Same thing, but let's start on the fourth note of the scale, the E flat. Let's turn up the speed a little bit and explore doing that one at a fast tempo. So here I'll show you my maximum speed for this morning. Here's what it might sound like. Try that with me a couple of times. I'm noticing that I'm starting each note of each group of 3 with a ta. Let's do the same thing, but slurred all the way through. Let's do it 3 times. Now let's do it with each note articulated with a ta, 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 ta. How about practicing some double tonguing this time? So ta, ka. I think of it more like a ga. It's like a rebound in the tongue. The T or the D starts more at the behind the teeth, and the rebound or the ga or the ka is more like the middle of the tongue contacting the roof of the mouth about halfway back, maybe where the soft palate and hard palate meet. How would it sound if I just speak it? Something like that. Let's do that 2 more times. Now let's try a series of 4 notes. Here's how it'll sound. Let's do that 4 times. Let's try the same thing, but this time with groups of 5. I guess that last one is a group of 4. You may notice me looking down here. This is my keyboard. As a pianist first and then a flutist, I find it helpful sometimes to watch the keyboard and imagine, what are my 5 fingers doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's helpful. So if it's helpful to you to look at a keyboard, do that. You can even pull one up on your computer just to view it. So let's work that upper octave a little bit. First, let's do just some long tones on each single note. Let's go back to that idea of a big crescendo and a big decrescendo. So let's start the E flat as quietly as possible. In the middle, let's get as loud as possible, listening for our intonation, and then try and finish the note as quietly as possible. Then we'll do the same thing on the F and the G and the A flat and the B flat and the C and the D, and then hopefully we'll make it up to the high E. I noticed that I started my first note in the scale with the 2, and then I realized, oh, I want to practice knowing exactly where the embouchure needs to be without the assistance of the tongue to get the note started, or without the assistance of the ta, the articulation. And so then I started each note with the hoo, 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 just trying to get the air flowing. And I'm in the habit of starting my notes with the 2 because it gets the airstream flowing a little faster. It gives it a little jump start, I feel like. But there are some scenarios where I choose to play with the who because I want a softer sounding beginning to the note. So let's practice going back and forth between 2 and who, 2, who. So let's go back to that high E, and we'll alternate. We'll take our breath. 2, who, 2, who. And we'll do that back down the scale. Let's go down to D. Now let's do a minute or two of metered vibrato practice, and then we'll finish up with some vibrato that is fast to, or slow to fast, and then fast to slow. I'm just grabbing my phone to grab the metronome. And I think I'll put it at 60. So let's do this on that middle E flat, this one. And first, for our first breath, let's just do 1 vibrato wave per, and then we'll do 2. Here comes 1. Now let's try and do 2. Now let's try to do 3. Now let's try to do 4. Now let's try to do 5. The word that I'm thinking when I do this one is opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Now let's try to do 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one's hard to keep up, right? Let's go back down to 5. Tell me in the chat what word do you think of to help think of 5? Now let's do 4. Now let's do 3. Now back down to 2. And back down to 1. Now, rarely do I actually use metered vibrato when I'm playing musically, except in the cases where sometimes I might want to communicate to a band member, I'm with you, here's the beat. What we want usually when we're using vibrato is a nice, natural, organic feeling. So let's practice starting slow and then going as fast as possible, taking a breath and starting as fast as possible and then ending as slowly as possible. The slow to fast, a good example that happens in the, I guess, natural world of the rhythm, the progression from slow to fast is like when you drop a bouncy ball. Big bounce, slightly smaller bounce, and then it gets faster and faster as it loses its inertia, right? So let's try that on the E flat, slow to fast. Now the opposite, fast to slow. Let's do that one more time. Slow to fast and then fast to slow. You may be noticing that pitch bends and vibrato are more or less the same thing. So let's finish up with a fun pitch bend. Let's first try and take that E flat and bend it, the pitch as high as possible. And then let's take a breath and try and bend it as low as possible. And then back to the E flat. You may notice that my tone color or tone quality changes when I bend the pitch. I might say that when we have to or choose to bend the pitch, we sacrifice the tone color that we usually want in order to achieve that other intonation, which practicing those pitch bends has really helped me be able to adjust quickly to another player when I'm playing in ensembles. And Lord knows that there's always going to be somebody who's kind of out of tune. And we want to, when we're playing with others, have a nice sounding matching intonation, right? So I encourage you to practice those pitch bends in your own practice time. Thanks for joining me for another session of the Atomic Flutist. I'll be going live for improv games tonight at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll play improv games for about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And then I'll do a highlight on the Let It Be by the Beatles. And then I'm planning to go live on YouTube after that for a little, I guess you could call it a mini live stream concert. I'll sing Let It Be, Hallelujah, House of the Rising Sun, and Hotel California. And I might even be joined by a few guest flutists. So bring your flutes, come play along. And I hope to see you at improv games and in the Flutarian School. See you later.